So is that what? Then let me ask them. London is, and I thought it was funny. Like, do you like? How do you feel? Like, how do all of you feel that people? There was a lot of Velvet Revolver comparisons from that one song.
Obviously, like that's gonna happen.
I didn't try to do that or anything. It's just like what I hear. Like I don't write songs. I just come up with it on the spot. Like as I like listen, I hear like a instrumental or something for like 30 seconds to a minute, stop it, instantly put it in, and just start recording it by myself. And just like as I go along, I just start coming up with like different things. So like I guess that's just kind of what came to my ear. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't trying to like sound like anything. I guess that's just kind of what like.
Sure.
And my voice sound like that. Like for like.
No, his voice could sound completely.
My voice could sound like completely different, which it does, and that's like a very small part of my voice. That song.
I believe that. I totally believe that, and that's why I totally got where London was coming from, where you're all coming from with that. And plus, that's nothing. That's a good thing to say, and it's not like one of those.
Thank you.
Whether you're related to someone famous or not, people are so quick to say, "Oh, this movie is just like this movie," or "This band is just like this band." Everything was so positive, and people were excited. Like, was that also unexpected? Not just the numbers, but just the reception of just how overwhelmingly positive it's been.
Yeah.
That's been really cool.
No, I'm glad. I mean, like when I started seeing it like get bigger, I was like, dang. And I was like, I don't really care, obviously, but like I was like, damn, I hope we don't get.
Yeah, I care a little bit.
Yeah, I care, but like, obviously, like I know, like it's not a shitty song. I think it's probably one of my least favorite that I've made, surprisingly. But, I still know it's a good song. You know what I mean?
But that also happens a lot too. Like when it's always like the person who like writes the melody or whatever. It's like they always like you always would think it's I could have done better. But it's like it's kind of our job to be like, you know what, you could have done. Sure, anyone could always do better. But that's a fucking good song, and people need to hear that because it made me feel really fucking excited when I heard it for the first time. It was just like, damn, that's good,
Niko, how much have you grown? Because I remember you saying, back 3 years, or sounds again 3 years ago, you had Slash teach you a lot. And you even said to yourself, like, I'm still honing my sound. I'm sounding a little bit too much like Slash, which is, if he's teaching you, it's not your fault. How have you grown as a guitar player in the last 3 years?
I've gotten a lot better, a lot more chops, a lot more rhythm, and I'm finding different techniques and different sounds to sound completely different. But my main goal as a guitar player is like to be like a chameleon on the song, you know what I mean, and just play what's perfect for the song, you know what I mean. And like for example, like Long Awaited, like was the song like I'm like I don't think any of us are like anti or haters of like any of the bands that are like the dads have had. Like I love Velvet Revolver, I love Guns, I love I love all these bands as well as a bunch of others. So like putting the song, it's like I had to put a solo that fits the song. You know what I mean? And,
sure.
I'm not gonna play like I don't know, like Andy Summers or something on this badass song. So like
it comes out organically, and that's the way it should. And Niko, you find this funny as well. This was on metalsucks.net. Now, obviously, people are excited because of you guys, London, Roman, and Tye being the son of they have a famous dad, yada yada yada. Well, my dad was a dentist. Sorry, he wasn't. But for Niko, I mean, I'm glad you're just mentioned. I've gotten some listeners.
Me too.
So, I feel so bad for Niko.
Actually, that's good. They even mentioned Niko. Like,
this one, I mean, I honestly thought this was a joke because back in I guess when I was 20 or so, right? So this is how long it's been. No beard, long hair. Since I'm Jewish, I'm like, oh, I'm Axl Rosenberg. I want to look like Axl Rose, so I was like, the Axl Rosenberg joke. So there's an Axl Rosenberg though that writes for Metal Sucks, and he said about, I mean, it's nothing bad. Niko Tsangaris, whose father, I think, I cannot seem to confirm, does or used to co-manage Slash and or Velvet Revolver.
Dude, that's the funniest shit when they just make
I
up
love that
shit
shit.
on
Like,
the spot.
where did that come from? With Chris, I mean, if he's listening somewhere, he's laughing.
Dude, I never
He's probably
thought-
like, I wish.
There's stuff out there saying that like I'm the original guitar player for like
Yeah.
Snake Pit and stuff.
What?
Yeah, and then I direct Velvet Revolver.
And there was,
Like you were fucking like
Dude.
3.
Yeah.
Just fucking
I know.
there's like, yeah, Slash is on guitar,
Yeah.
and his brother is playing drums. I'm like, dude, where?
What the
I mean, I'm just glad you're being mentioned, but I just thought you would get a kick out of that. And I know,
Oh,
you know,
God.
London, we had fun that first time because we were talking about, you know, certain things, and you know, I'm like, I don't know if it's the same case now since you're a legal guy, which sounds weird out of context, but you know, at the time, you know, your parents had to give permission for you to do the podcast, and I was like, oh my god, Slash knows who I am, and you know, and people are just so quick to jump on like an article and just say, and people question why I would write London Hudson is my guest. You know, why don't you say Slash's son? And it's the same thing for, you know, why don't you say Scott's son or I don't, that's why I introduced you. I haven't said it really until now. You know, is that you're Chris's son? I said Chris first thing. I said hi to Chris. I
Yeah.
mean, you should first of all, if you want to learn more about Niko and Chris, you should follow them both on Instagram. If you want to see, you know, shredding in classic guitars, so you want to follow them on Instagram and learn more about them. You know,
Behind the scenes stuff. I shred in my pajamas all the time.
I don't know if that's going to get you followers or not. Maybe you're late. Is that something? I mean, I get you're all prepared for that. I guess, you know, I know London, you've been doing it for a while. Tye, I mean, you're a seasoned veteran at 16. You know, Roman, does it bother you at this point that, you know, I try to do my best as an interviewer, not to respect, not ask you questions that you're like, why would they know that, bother you with questions? Is that something you've experienced a lot? Is that something that's, or you just know that's part of the game?
It's
you know?
part of the game, but eventually, like it becomes like an internal thing with yourself. And I mean, I can relate with like Tye and Noah and like a lot of other people that have figures, parents that I know, but it becomes just a thing where it's like an internal conflict at some point that it could like really ruin a lot of people. So once you fucking learn how to deal with it and process it, that's why I've like had to take time and space to fucking come back to music and shit. Well, now I have a fucking grasp on it, and I'm able to process and deal with that shit. But if you can't process and you can't deal with that shit, it just destroys you. So
I completely agree, and that's why I said I related a lot to Roman, and I often bring this up. Again, it's a GNR podcast, but anything that fits that 6 degrees of GNR bacon, you know, I kid around that. I mean, it's true. My dad was a dentist. He has since passed. We're not going to go. I don't want to make the route we're going too sad, but it's like, you know, anyone with parents, like I was gonna say with my mom, like, do I have the same tics and weird things as my mom? And I had to take time away. There was time I took away from radio, time I took away from social media. And I always think about, though, when it's anyone famous, it could be an actor, it doesn't have to be you guys specifically. And they talk about like their kids and it's all like the TMZ stuff. And it's just like, I always think about, they didn't ask for this. If they want to be on a TV show, and if I can understand, maybe they made that choice, like, okay, they have to accept some sort of losing your right to privacy. But when I see kids, it bothers me. It definitely bothers me. I think there's a lot of people out there that are not like that are not. So I just want to let you know, just from not from personally, but I think that I just want to let you know there's a lot of people out there that support what you're doing, despite, you know, if you had no, if you're, I'm not gonna say it like this, if all of your fathers were like, I don't know, if all of your fathers were like make believe or something like that, if it doesn't matter, if all of your fathers were plumbers or something like that, I don't think it would matter, because the song reflects that it's a good song. And I think the comments and the reception, it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who, like, where you come from. You either shut up, and you're already putting up. It's only been one song, you know.
Yeah, we're
Oh.
really not different from anybody else who enjoys playing music. So we're like
Yeah.
everybody else. So, just because we're the sons of whoever, it doesn't make us different. We're like everybody else who loves playing music.